Hi, this is Joe again with another review. For the sake of this video, I'm going to be discussing a real classic in every sense of the word movie for you. I'm going to be discussing the 1938. Excuse me. I'm going to be discussing the 1938 classic, The Adventures of Robin Hood, starring Errol Flynn and Liberty Haviland. It also stars Basil Hawthorne, who of course later on in the 40s played Sherlock Holmes in a bunch of movies in the 1940s, and also a guy who was also famous for playing villains in the 1930s. Most notably, the Invisible Claude Maines, the Invisible Man, was also in this. Of course, he played the villain, Prince John. Of course, this movie, made Errol Flynn a huge star that he is, very action hero star, because he played the title of Robin Hood. Then Liberty Haviland played Maid Marian, the only real woman love interest in this thing. Of course, it also has, I should also point out, the most annoying female actress ever of all time. Most annoying. That's Una O'Connor, who is annoying as hell. I don't know how the hell this woman could keep getting jobs in the 30s. Because she's the one who was in The Invisible Man with Claude Maines, and in Bride of Frankenstein, who was a little skinny woman, looks like a gypsy woman. She's always screaming, "Ah!" All the time. And Bride of Frankenstein and The Invisible Man, and she got his job as the mother of Maid Marian. Of course, this movie is based on all the legends and the stories of Robin Hood. Saying, he robs from the rich and gives to the poor. The reason for that is because he lives in England, and with a bunch of people who are constantly being not only attacked, but taxed heavily by the people who are in the king and his minions. King Richard the Lionhearted was out in a war with another country, and he gets captured. So because Richard Lionhearted got captured, his brother, Prince John, who was like King Richard's rival, and he wanted to be king, but he wasn't the oldest son, so he never became king. And so, of course, when Richard was captured, he said, "Okay, I'm going to take over." And not only am I going to take over, but we'll make sure that he's dead, so I can be king. Because I can't be king unless he's dead. So he's trying to conspire to get him executed, so he'll take over, and that's it. Because Prince John was power hungry. It's kind of like in the Lion King, in the Disney movie The Lion King, same thing. Can never be king, but he wants to be king. And so one way to do it is because King Richard is being ransomed off. Excuse me. So the only way that Prince John felt that he could raise the money was to tax the poor and overtax them. Tax them and overtax them and overtax them. So now that stuff was going on, Robin Hood decided to rebel. And he created his little band of merry men. He had a little army, and he decides to rob all the tax collectors. And he collected all the money from them, and he decides to hold that money for the ransom for King Richard, because he likes King Richard. He supported King Richard, and King Richard never taxed them, or he left the poor people alone for the most part, until of course Prince John took over, and and that was it. So they had to get even with Prince John, and so of course that's what was going on in the movie. And while this going on, Robin Hood decided to confront Prince John. So he had a whole big dinner scene, and he's trying to confront him and saying, "Hey, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing," and that's it. And meanwhile, meanwhile, Robin Hood falls in love with Maid Marian, who played playing the Olivia de Havilland played this part. And of course, at first, Olivia de Havilland didn't like him because he's a thief, he's a robber, he's a rebel, he's all the bad stuff that she was being told by Prince John. And it looks like at first that she was going to marry Prince John. But of course, at one point, the film Robin Hood kidnaps Marian, and he shows her why he's doing what he's doing. At first, she was reluctant because he didn't want to know what was going on. But Robin showed her what's going on, and said, "Okay, I'm going to help you the best I could," which is what happened. And over the course of it, she keeps getting saying messages to Robin and telling what's happening, what's going on, what's Prince John doing. And of course, one of the big highlights of the film is, of course, the famous archery contest, which, of course, Robin won. And then they found out that it was actually Robin, and of course, he got caught, he got arrested. He was going to be hung, and Maid Marian helped him, and Robin's merry men helped him get out. And of course, then they had found out that King Richard was actually alive, and now Robin was trying to get save King Richard, trying to get him back to Buckingham Palace. Not Buckingham. Trying to get him back to the palace before Prince John's goons get a hold of him. And of course, King Richard identified himself to Robin, said, "Hey, he found out that King Richard was hiding in Shiloh Forest." So so Robin's looking for him, and Prince John's guys is looking for him, and Prince John, or King Richard, says, "Hey, I'm actually King Richard." Because he was wearing clothes, robes, and disguised himself, and he was actually King Richard. He said, "Here I am. I'm King Richard. You don't have to look for me. I'm right here." To Robin. And Robin says, "Okay, I'm going to help you get back into the castle." And then, of course, he had the whole big fight scene, and Basil Hawthorne had a big fight scene with Robin, and of course, Robin wins because it's Robin Hood. And of course, he gets back into power, what King Richard did, and kicked out Prince John for at the end of the movie, kicked him out of England at the end of the movie, and that's pretty much the whole movie. And the movie is not that particularly long for a movie like this. I felt that the whole story was kind of rushed. I thought it may have been a half hour longer or 20 minutes longer. Could have been fine. But it's like maybe an hour and 15 minutes long versus Robin Hood. But I thought it was kind of funny it was this short. Because when I was a kid, I actually did have fond memories of watching Adventures of Robin Hood, because he used to be on every few months on television here in New York. Because I'm in New York City. That's where I'm from. I'm doing these videos from New York. And Channel 5 in New York City, at that time it was called WNEW Channel 5 at that time. Before Rupert Murdoch bought the station Channel 5, it became the primary, the big station in Murdoch's Fox television network in the late 80s, like 86, 87. Murdoch bought Channel 5 and retitled the station as WNYW Fox 5. And every year, I think twice, 2, maybe 3 times a year, Adventures of Robin Hood used to be on Channel 5, and they used to call it Academy Award weekend. But the problem was they always used to show the same 3 movies. They show Adventures of Robin Hood, they show The African Queen with Humphrey Bogart and Katharine Hepburn, and on the next day, or sometimes they'll flip it, they'll show those movies either on Sunday or Saturday, and then the other day, when they don't show The African Queen and Adventures of Robin Hood, they would show West Side Story. So it's like the same damn 3 movies. I mean, if you're showing Academy Award movies, an Academy Award weekend, show other Academy Award winning movies. I mean, but there was no TCM in those days. There was no AMC or not even HBO. So it was like in the mid. I think it was HBO then, but HBO and WHT, right? So there's no real cable channel that in those days they show classic movies, except if it's on regular if you catch it on regular TV somewhere. But Channel 5 used to show the same 3 movies, and one of them was always The Adventures of Robin Hood. But the scenes they always see was the famous scene with Errol Flynn swinging on a vine to the branch. Says, "Welcome to Sherwood." Welcome to Sherwood Forest, I should say. And of course, some of the sword fights. Those are only scenes I actually remember, not the actual plot, because I could never had a chance to watch the entire movie. Because of course, in the 70s or early 80s, there's no VCRs back then, or TiVo or DVRs or whatever, so I couldn't record the movie. So I finally got a chance to record the movie and finally watched the whole thing for the first time in my life, and I thought it was a fun movie to watch. It's a good action adventure film, but I always prefer my movies to have a little more of a plot. Except other than the Legends of Robin Hood, steals from the rich, gives to the poor stuff, and the love scenes with Maid Marian and the archery contest. I'm like, where's the plot in this thing, other than the Legends of Robin Hood? But another thing that I got off a movie when you have good actors in it, charismatic performances by Errol Flynn. I think this is like the role that Errol Flynn is really, really known for, unfortunately. Of course, Olivia de Havilland, she was like a young actress at that time, and she's famous for being in a movie that will come out the next year, which is Gone with the Wind. She played Melanie Hamilton in Gone with the Wind. So, I don't think she was really that famous for playing Maid Marian, because she's more famous for playing in Gone with the Wind. God bless her, she's still with us. I think she's over 100 years old now. And she's still with us. I think she's the only character, unfortunately, from Gone with the Wind who is still alive today. And she's still, and God love her, she's still with us. But unfortunately, the rest of the cast, of course, died. I think this was one of the first, if not the first, full color movie. I don't know what was the first movie that was completely filmed in color, but I'm sure The Adventures of Robin Hood wasn't the first movie that was completely filmed in color. But it's kind of fun to watch. It's still kind of fun to watch this movie because it's a good action adventure film. But of course, kids today say, "Who the hell is Robin Hood?" Because people probably would say, "Oh, that's just Green Arrow." When the Green Arrow was a rip-off of Robin Hood, that type of thing. But the movie itself is still a classic to this day, and it is, I think, 80 years old this year. So happy birthday, Robin Hood. The movie itself is 80 years old, and still holds up as a good action adventure film. So if you want to see a good action adventure film from the golden age of movies in the 1930s, check out The Adventures of Robin Hood. So that ends my review of The Adventures of Robin Hood. Please click on the video, please rate it. Feel free to comment on it. Please subscribe to my channel. Please forward this video to your Facebook pages. You can check out all my reviews on my YouTube channel at rowdyc.com. That's OWDY. C.com. That's the homepage of Rowdy Reviewer, Chris Lee Moore. And please check out all of your videos, all of his videos on his website as well. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.